The King and the Hermit. Keerthiman was a well-known king, but he was not at all a kind or benevolent king. Whatever he wanted might come to his hand. It was his nature. So, the courtiers feared of him greatly. One day, the king made a journey. It was through a forest. On journeys, he had never been followed by his attendants. He was also always alone in his journeys. It was because he had never wanted his doings to reach the ears of his courtiers. While journeying, the king felt thirsty. He wanted to have some water, but there was no one around. On the way, he saw a hermitage, and dismounting from the horse, he walked to the hermitage. A hermit was sitting cross-legged inside. He was also in deep meditation. The king approached him and called out, but the meditation was so deep that the hermit did not hear the king. The king thought that the hermit was pretending to be asleep, and so he caught the hermit by his ears and lifted him from the ground. The hermit opened his eyes and was very angry. He cursed the king, telling, "May you have donkey's ears." The king let the hermit free and left the hermitage for his palace. He was fearing of the curse. On the way, he saw a stream and stooped down it to scoop water. He was heavily shaken when he saw his reflection out of water. His ears had already turned to donkey's ears. The king felt ashamed of it, and he tucked his ears into his turban for none to see them. Reaching the palace, the king went straight to his royal chamber. He did not speak to anyone. He feared even to come out of his chamber. So, his ministers looked after the administrative affairs. One day, when it was time to cut down the king's hair, the royal barber entered his room. The king said to him, "You are going to see something strange, but don't say even a single word about it to anyone. If so, you will be strangled." The barber agreed. The king put off his turban. The barber was startled to see the donkey's ears. The barber liked calumniation very much, but he was under the fear of his death when he thought of telling about the donkey's ears to anybody. He was choked heavily due to the inability of expressing the secrets relating to the king's ears. At last, he found a way. By the public way, the barber dug a ditch and then expelled the words, "The king's ears are donkey's ears," into it, and covered the ditch with the soil. The burden which was laden on him was ebbed out completely, and he went home peacefully. Days later, there germinated reeds on the mound over the ditch. When they thrived to large grass, they called out with the wind the words the barber expelled out. Very soon, this affair became public, and the king came to know of the strange behavior of the reeds. But he was unable to punish the reeds